Hello, everyone, and welcome to this very first episode of live here on my channel. So, finger crossed, hopefully, everything goes well. I am Claudia, an Italian designer from Manchester, UK, and I also started my role at Adobe as an Adobe Creative Cloud evangelist. And I'm so excited to be here to share with you tips and techniques to support your design journey and hopefully to speed up your workflow while using the Adobe Creative Cloud app. So today we're just going to be looking at the Illustrator new Mockup panel. I share quite a lot of reels on my Instagram channel, which is at @IamCladi, and in there just yesterday I shared the brand new features that allow you to create mockups. So let's jump into my desktop so you can start and have a look at what this feature is all about. So I'm just gonna go ahead and move into my desktop here. This is my Instagram. You can see here that this is the reel that I shared on how to create a mockup. Quickly starting from a vector graphic, we have the mockup panel. You will have to install it. So I already installed it in my machine. So if you wanna learn how to do that, just simply go ahead and watch on my reel. All you have to do really is to click on the install button and it will be there. But let's jump inside Illustrator because I want to show you a little bit more of how this feature works. And I'm going to start really quickly and simply by using my little logo that the wonderful Team Easily has created for me about a year ago now. As you can see, this is just a vector graphic. If I go ahead and use my shortcut Control Y that allows me to see the outline mode, I can see that this is definitely a vector, is made by all these lovely anchor points that sit in my artboard. And again, Control Y or Command Y is the shortcut that allows you to move from normal mode, view mode, to outline mode, which allows you to see the outline of all your graphic inside your artboard. And you need to have at least one graphic in order to get started. And most importantly, you need to have a vector graphic in order to use these specific features. And in just a second, we will also have a look at something more complex. I have this brand that I've created, and I will show you how you can use this feature also with more complex or maybe more than one object. But let's start from simple steps. Again, here I have a background. You can lock it if you want. If you want to know how to lock object, you can go ahead and right click on it and simply choose to lock it from there. Or you can also go ahead and use the object and lock shortcut, which is Control 2 or Command 2 if you're working on Windows, sorry, on a Mac. So Command 2 is on a Mac, Control 2 is on a Windows in order to lock any object, and then you can right click on it to unlock it again. So in here, in this case, you can lock and unlock the rectangle. Although this is not a specific step for this particular feature, I will recommend you just to lock usually anything that you do not need to use in your design, especially when you have a background, in this case, just to give a little bit of colors to our artboard. Okay, so here I have my vector graphic. We can just put it there on the side. And I'm going to go ahead and start by selecting the window top menu. And from there, I'm going to choose Mockup Beta. Now, once I go ahead and select the Mockup Beta, the Mockup Beta panel will pop up. Here, you can click on the drop-down menu to choose between different kind of assets. So you can choose between packaging, digital devices, then we have branding graphics, and then we have apparel. Of course, you can see that once we choose all the different categories for our mockup, the assets that we have at our disposal will change. But how do we preview our graphic to see how it's going to look like inside this mockup? Well, simply click on the mockup button inside the mockup panel to make a mockup. And as you can see, the graphic already gets previewed right away inside all the available images and all the available graphics. And again, you can move around and you see that it gets loaded very quickly. Now I'm going to go ahead and choose the same that I've used inside my other tutorial on Instagram, which was the tote bag. I'm going to go ahead and click on edit canvas. Now, the reason why you see this blue tick is because I've already licensed that image. Those are Adobe stock images. If you happen to have a license, like in this case, I licensed the tote bag, you will be able to use it without a watermark. Later on, we're going to work on another image and we're going to see the difference between licensed and unlicensed content. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the edit and button, which you can access simply by hovering the image, and you will see that the image will open up inside your artboard. Now, this beautiful mockup, this is a photo. This is not a vector. Again, if we go back into our Control Y or Command Y, you can see that this is just a rectangle because this is just an image, while my logo has been applied as a vector. So again, Control Y to come back into our normal view. And the beauty is that not only you can preview your image inside your graphic inside the image, but you can also double click on it in order to move it around. If you want to just change the direction of the graphic, you can move it inside the graphic, and look how it follows the bag here. So I can just kind of wrap it around inside the image. So what he's doing is actually recognizing the item to use as a mock-up, and then is warping the image around. Look at that. Look how gorgeous it is. Of course, it works within limitation. If it goes too far, in this case, it's picking up the wall or maybe picking up a jumper. So we can literally maybe use the same picture to, mock up something else. But I want to focus on the tote bag here. And you can also resize your art, which is super cool. Look, the mask and the wrap is still on the tote bag. So even if I resize the image, because the focus is there, is mainly picking up just the tote bag, which I think is super cool. Again, look how it bleeds into either the hand or the pants. You want to be careful. This is still in beta. That means that, it's still not the final version, but I would strongly recommend you to start playing with it because it's a fantastic way to really present your logo, and it will make your work really stand out, especially when you're presenting to clients. Having a flat graphic versus a mocked up graphic goes a long way. Now, if you want, while you're editing here, you can perhaps even in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and use the Alt key. That's option on a Mac. If you wish perhaps to duplicate, if you want to add another item, in this case, I'm just duplicating. As you can see, you can add the items within the mockup. And that works for anything else. So if I want to just create an ellipse, maybe I want to add a few dots into my graphic, you can do that at any time. If you have something else that is decide to add on a second time, you can literally do that as well anytime that you want, because these mockup will remain editable. Okay, so here I'm just literally freestyling and adding a few dots just to show you the potential. Now, if you're wondering, what if you want to keep a little bit more of the shadows? In this case, we're dealing with a black graphic. So, what if we want to change color? Well, you will also be able to change color. In this case, I'm choosing these little blue, but we are losing a little bit of the realistic effect of the mockup because it's really it's wrapping around. But when if you've done mockup before, especially using Photoshop, you would use in this case your opacity and your blend mode to maybe change the blend mode to multiply. But as you can see, you can do that also inside Illustrator. And by multiplying here, you're picking up all the creases and all the shadows that are inside the tote. And again, if at any time you decide perhaps to remove any object from inside the mockup, all you have to do is to double click on it to enter the isolation mode, and you can go ahead and change that as many times as you want. Isn't that fantastic? I find that super exciting. Okay, so this is a way in which you can mock up your object. Now, you can save them, you can leave them there for your presentation, or you can save them and maybe use them for your shop, or if you have an Etsy, or if you have maybe an e-commerce where you're selling product on your website. But what if you want to, for example, create a mask and maybe just, have an ellipse or a round shape, or you want a round corner for your image? And this stage, because we have a mockup, which is literally like a graphic card that is mapped inside an image, you won't be able to use the usual masking method within Illustrator. So what I would recommend you to do is to hold on the Alt key on a Windows, that option on a Mac, and then create a copy of your mockup. And then use one of the two graphics to simply go ahead and select it, and then head to the top object menu and click on expand to expand the graphic. And as you can see now, we just simply have the vector graphic that has been expanded to whatever shape that is. And now this is also grouped, which is perfect for creating our masks. I'm going to go ahead and press on the letter L to activate the ellipse tool. And here I'm going to simply use my ellipse tool and create another selection with my underline image to then create a mask. And I'm going to use my shortcut Control 7, Command 7 if you're working on a Windows. Remember, you can always edit the stroke. We can resize it. Now, if you perhaps want to use, instead of a circle, a rounded corner rectangle, you can just simply create a rectangle. Use our lovely, rounded corner widget to round up the image. Now, remember, in order to create this mask, you can also head to Object and then select Clipping Mask and then Make. Remember, you will always have to have your object on top and your image underneath. The image, you can add as many elements you want. They can be vector, they can be raster, but they need to be grouped. And then they need to be underneath of the shape. So now we can select them both and then simply again, Control 7 or Object, Clipping Mask, Make to create the clipping mask. And again, if you wish to add a stroke, you can do that. But look what happens here. It picks up our object as also a vector and is adding the stroke there, which it didn't look too bad, to be fair. I think it looks quite vintagey and cool. But if you just want to isolate your rectangle, double click on it. And in that case, you will be able to add the stroke and change the weight of the stroke just to your rectangle. And this is pretty much the way to go. I'm just going to show you with a little bit more of a complex object, but look how amazing it is. I'm actually going to real quick use this graphic as well for my business card. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on the business card and simply go click on the edit to edit the artwork on the artboard. Now you will see that differently from the tote bag because this was not a licensed pictures. So we right away we can see the watermark, we can see the lower resolution, and also the Adobe stock number or reference for this particular image. So this is absolutely fine, because if you're using this just to show your clients how your logo will look like on a specific object or in real life, you do not need to use license the image. But then if you're actually using that commercially, so maybe on your website to sell your products or an official presentation or on catalogs and stuff like that, you will have to license your image, but that will be part of your Adobe stock credits. So let's go ahead and delete this image and let's jump on our little coffee, and look what happened here. Because I had my mockup panel opened up, it automatically has lifted whatever content, in this case this graphic, and loaded inside the mockup. You can at any time click on the refresh or release button inside the panel to release the specific mockup, if you the specific shape. In fact, perhaps I just want to use this yellow over here, so I'm just going to go ahead and create a copy of this logo, because this is the one that I want to use for my graphic. And again, all you have to do is to select the graphic that you want and create mockup to make sure that that specific vector art gets lifted and used inside your mockup here. So let's go ahead and switch it up. In this case, I'm going to use packaging. I love this coffee. Oh, I love this coffee mug. This coffee package, actually really cool. We're going to do the coffee package. We're going to do the coffee mug. And then unfortunately, probably it's time to go. We got 2 minutes, but this is so quick and easy that we have totally time to do it in 2 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead here and make this image a little bit bigger. Again, as you can see, probably choosing the yellow wasn't the right color for the craft paper. But remember, we can at any time just simply use our eyedropper tool to change the color if we wish to do so, or maybe if you want to add something more like this image with a little splash behind, we can just simply select it, use the Command or Control C to copy, and then enter the mockup. Because it's already kind of created the warp around the image, you can simply change by pasting inside the isolation the symbol that you're using for your mockup, and that will work absolutely fine. It's still warping around. You can resize it, you can move it, and you can use it inside your mockup as you wish. Now, as you can see, don't forget to use and hold the shift key while you resize, simply because otherwise it will not be it will not resize proportionally. It will get distorted like it was happening to me a second ago. And remember, head to the appearance panel, opacity, and multiply to make sure that you lift all the texture and all the other material, like as if pretty much this was printed over. And don't forget that if you want to retain the colors, there are other way that you can use. There are other blend mode that you can use. For example, you can layer the color on top of the multiply if you wish to do so. I kind of like the multiply. It's the one who gives me the best effect. Or you can also leave it to normal and simply turn down the opacity a little bit if you wish to do so. That's, again, absolutely up to you. If you want to create a double, as I've done before for my logo, simply Control-C, Control-V. The most important thing is that you're still inside the mask in isolation mode, and you can start layering your graphics. So maybe I'll set 1 to multiply, and in this case, I probably have to bring it below my other one if you wish to do so. I kind of like this feel with the black and white. Let's go ahead and paste it on top and use the multiply again. And as you can see here, it gives me this effect with the color being a little bit more darker because it's multiplying the two colors one on top of the other. So this is absolutely up to you. Have fun experimenting. Now, if you double click, you have this image that as the logo retains it and places inside the mockup. You can also add even a little bit more by simply, for example, adding it to the cap. So I'm going to go ahead and edit now the cap. Is super cool. If you played with the mockup before, there was a way already before this new panel release in which you could have played with the mockup by simply selecting the graphic, place it roughly on top of the image that you wanted to create as a mockup, and then you can go to Object and then Mockup Beta here and make. This is another method to create a mockup. I think that using the panel is much more efficient, especially because you already have a preview. And again, like if we switch real quick into the apparel, look how cool is that. Like literally, I got a coffee packaging, I got a coffee mug, I got a takeaway cup and a cap. So imagine how quickly and how awesome and how exciting it's going to be for your clients to see these their logo taking shape in real life, because it's already been mocked up on realistic object, and you don't have to jump in any other app. You can do everything inside Illustrator. So I hope you find this useful. I will be back with more design tips. I cannot wait to hang out with you. I need to probably get a little bit better at this YouTube streaming. As I said, this was my first YouTube live on my channel. Please subscribe to watch more, and if you enjoyed this stream, leave a comment below. I'm gonna post these inside other channels as well, so hopefully more of you will be able to come and join me during this live stream. And of course, let me know if you find it useful. Let me know if you find this feature useful, and if you envision using it for your project, maybe for your website, for your e-commerce, or just simply to create mockups for your branding project. It was a pleasure to be here with you. It's time to say goodbye, and I will catch you very soon. Bye!